Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I am back today with another episode of Am I the A-hole or Aita. Aita for not letting my classmate use my artwork for her GoFundMe. I'm a senior in high school. In December, one of my classmates got into a bad car accident that did a lot of damage. She had several surgeries and is in need of more for her face. Her insurance won't cover it, hence the GoFundMe. I was never really friendly with this girl. She spread nasty rumors about a friend of mine, and I always had a tainted view of her. Outside of that incident, I never talked to her and didn't know she knew that I existed. So my classmates are sending around a GoFundMe and a link to t-shirts for sale, and I see that my artwork has been used. My artwork has nothing to do with her cause. It was a Picasso-style self-portrait that was an assignment for class. I posted it to Twitter. They were using it on t-shirts and in promotions without my permission. I got into contact with the girl and her friend who is running everything and asked them to take my artwork off of their GoFundMe. At first, they said that they didn't know it was mine and would credit me. They cropped my Siggy out though. I told them that I didn't want it credited and preferred it to be taken down. They told me they already had t-shirts. People recognized it for her GoFundMe. I honestly didn't care. Then they started guilt-tripping me about it, and I told them I would go through other means to get it taken down. Then the girl posts screenshots of our DMs on her Twitter, directing people at me and telling them how heartless I am. I'm getting tons of hate messages and people telling me to just let her use my crappy artwork. I can't even open up any social media without fear of getting crappy messages from my classmates. I talked to my mom about it, and she thinks I should have just kept quiet about it, as it's hard not to look like an a-hole for refusing to let her use the image. I'm feeling pretty confused because I think I have the right to say where my artwork goes. Aita for not letting her use my art? No, she... Even in tragedy and horrible situations, that doesn't mean you get to steal someone else's property and use it to make money for yourself. That's not how this works. You shouldn't have to feel bad, and unfortunately you're in high school and y'all's brains are not near done being developed, and everybody's being dumb when they don't understand the violation going on here. So no, you're not an a-hole, but unfortunately it is likely that you won't win the popularity contest in this particular situation. Aita for refusing to keep in touch with my half-sister. My dad cheated multiple times on my mom, and as a result I have 2 half-siblings that I know of. 16 female and 8 male, different mothers. My dad is now dead. Recently my half-sister's mom contacted me and said she wanted to meet up and talk. I reluctantly agreed because I didn't want to seem like an a-hole. She said that as the older child, I'm 25 female and have a brother 18 male, I should make more of an effort to keep in touch with her daughter and spend more time together, me, my brother, and my half-sister. She said my half-sister often asks about us and wants to get to know us, and that it would be a good idea for us to hang out more often. I've seen her like twice in my life. For clarification, she didn't try to make it seem like I'm obligated to do it. I only paraphrased what she said, but the gist is the same. She wanted me to check on her more often, invite her to our house, and involve my brother as well. In response, I reminded her as respectfully as I could that her daughter, though perfectly innocent and wanted this no more than I or my brother did, is a living reminder of the pain and betrayal that my dad's affair caused to my mom and our family, and that I wasn't ready to simply accept her into my life, and I probably never would be. Just to be clear once again, I'm well aware that the blame lies entirely with my dad, but she knew he was married and had kids, so she is not exactly innocent either, and I would rather not have her or her daughter in my life. She wasn't too happy about what I said, but seemed to respect the way I felt and didn't push further. At least, not right away. But a few minutes later, when my half-sister showed up, she started saying stuff like, "You two should hang out more often. You should exchange numbers," and just repeating the same things we had just talked about. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to risk being hurtful towards my half-sister, but when I went home, I blocked her mother's number and deleted her from all my social media accounts. I was angry because I felt she had no right to ask that of me. However, now that I'm calmer, I feel like I'm being an a-hole to the person who deserves it least, my half-sister, by depriving her of a sister and a brother just because of the circumstances under which she was conceived. Aita? TLDR, Aita for not wanting to have my half-sister in my life because she reminds me of my dad's cheating. I wouldn't say that you're an a-hole. I don't know that anyone's necessarily an a-hole here except for obviously people for cheating. I don't think... It's hard because I actually know someone who went through something similar to this, where they were born and they figured they were like an only child, and then found out about their dad. They knew like their parents split or whatever. Found out their dad had like a whole nother family, and that she had half siblings, and even some who were like her, where the father had left their family. And it was really hard for her when like people didn't want to be with her because she was an only child, and she realized she has family and brothers and sisters, and the idea of them not wanting to be around her was really hard for her. But at the same time, you have to also consider like maybe not everyone's real happy about the situation, and everyone's not the same. It might be harder for them to handle someone that they don't accept as really being family because of that kind of betrayal. So it's rough for everyone. I get the mom was probably just trying to do what she thought was best for her daughter, but at the same time, that relationship can't be forced, and I just hope the best for all of you in that. Aita for telling my mother to stop complaining that she's only getting $7K. Around 2 years ago, my mother slipped on a patch of ice in the parking lot at her job. She fractured her ankle in the fall and needed surgery to have a plate put in it. She went through physical therapy and can function without issue during her day-to-day activities. Her ankle is achy and can swell during rainy days. It is my understanding that this isn't uncommon for people who have had similar injuries. Anyway, all this time later, workers' compensation is finally settling, and she's appalled at the amount she is being given. She keeps saying to everyone who will listen, and to myself more times than I can count, "This is something that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. My life will never be the same, and that's all they came up with?" I'm sick of it. I feel like she should just be grateful that she doesn't have a permanent limp or something. And it's not like she's getting nothing. They paid her while she was out for months, and she's still getting a settlement that's not exactly small by our standards. So this morning, when she was ranting through the same spiel, I stopped her and told her I refused to feel sorry for her because she wasn't ruined and that she sounded entitled. I also reminded her that my partner was in a much more serious accident and broke his spine, and his settlement wasn't that much more than hers. She huffed and called me a bee. Now she won't talk to me. Aita? Kind of. I think the thing is, when you're talking about injuries, something I was informed of when I was in an accident is that the body is the most expensive thing. The, property is cheap to replace. The body and harm to the body is very expensive. And when it's something someone's going to deal with for their whole life, $7,000 isn't going to cut it for the rest of your life. Where issues could reoccur, or having to deal with having swelling every time it rains and being really achy and painful. So yeah, she has a right to be upset, and it's really annoying when other people decide like, oh well, this person had it more seriously, so you're not allowed to be upset. Like, that's not really fair. I get that it's annoying to hear someone, but at the same time, when you experience it, it's just different because it's through your lens. It's your whole world. And I get it if she was like complaining 3 years down the road still and feeling sorry for herself. But if this is a new development for her, I mean, probably should have just given her some space and just ignored it. And not compared her to like, well, other people have it worse. Like, that's like the worst thing you can say to someone who's going through stuff. Aita for making my girlfriend pay to sleep over. I, 28 male, have been with my girlfriend, 22 female, for about a year now, and things have been going really well up until recently. We live in separate apartments, and we're spending about one night a week together at my place, but recently it has turned into 3 or 4 nights a week. Now, don't get me wrong, I love having my girlfriend sleep over, and I could even see us living together one day. However, when I asked her to start paying $24 each night she stays over, she got really upset. I explained that all of my utility bills have gone up significantly since she started staying over more, and that $24 for one night in an $1,800 a month apartment is a great deal. Heck, I wish I got to live in my apartment for that little. Anyway, her and her friends think I'm being unreasonable, and her friends are telling her to dump me. I really love her and don't want to lose her, but I'm afraid of ending up in a relationship where bills aren't split equally, and I don't want to be with someone who just sees me as a meal ticket. I think it's reasonable to ask her to help pay for things now that she's spending more time at my place, but maybe I'm wrong? Aita. TLDR, Aita for telling my girlfriend she has to pay $24 each night she sleeps over in my $1,800 a month apartment since her presence has increased my utility bills and she's using my apartment almost as much as I am. That's gonna be a yikes, bro. I understand maybe sitting down and having a conversation if you're concerned, like, hey, if you're gonna be staying over, like, practically living with me half the time, you know, we might need to have a conversation, like, maybe you can, I don't know, buy our dinner one night or something. Just, if that's really, like, an issue and you're struggling, you can be transparent about it, but to be like, every night that you would like to stay at the hotel or my apartment, you'll pay me $24. Like, she's your girlfriend, dude. Like, Aita for not telling my girlfriend a secret I was asked not to share. I, male 25, was told about a month ago by my brother that he and his wife were pregnant with twins, but given the circumstances of one twin not developing correctly, best case scenario was one baby and worst case was losing both. My brother told me and my two other brothers in a private text chat where in it he says specifically that they aren't in a place where they want to talk about it publicly. Now, fast forward a month, and my brother announced in a chat, including the four of us, my mother, and the wives/girlfriend we are all with, that they are pregnant. My girlfriend, female 22, was super excited, and everyone else seemed not as excited as her in the text chain. So she gets the idea that some of them already knew, at which point I tell her that I knew and was asked not to say anything. So now she's ticked, saying that she should be an exception to the rule on not telling anyone, and that clearly my other brothers told their wives, which is unconfirmed, but I can bet for sure one was aware due to being told by the pregnant couple anyway. I feel like my brother reached out to my brothers and I privately and specifically said they didn't want to talk about it yet and took that as shouldn't share that information until they were ready. In case things went good or bad, that was their information to share, and just because my other brothers may have told their wives doesn't mean it was right of them to do so. She claims she can't trust me because I should be able to confide anything I know in her. I claim that if I were to tell her all the secrets people ask me not to tell, then no one could trust me. Aita for not telling her? Well, there is one thing that your girlfriend is overlooking, and that is that your brothers are married and you guys are not. Not only that, if someone says, hey, I'm telling you in confidence something and I cannot be talking with anybody about this, then you should shut your mouth and not tell anybody else. That's how I see things, and I think your girlfriend is being unreasonable. Of course, she probably just feels left out because it's in her head that everyone else knew. It's just annoying when people aren't reasonable about these things. Like, I get annoyed when people, like, don't... It's annoying. It's like, some people are like, hey, I know you probably tell everything to your husband or wife. That's fine, but as long as they don't tell anybody else. And there are some people, I wouldn't want them to tell their husband or wife because they have loose lips and tell people things. So I think it's fair to say, hey, I wanted to tell my brothers, and my brothers are the only ones who need to know, and that this guy respected that is great. I don't understand his girlfriend, and she's kind of annoying me, but you know. Aita for asking my therapist if he farted or took a dump. I've been in therapy for about a month because I'm struggling with a few personal issues / major life decisions. We've been doing therapy via Zoom and telephone. My therapist is a nice guy and I feel that he's been helping. We had a session yesterday and he asked if we could use the telephone rather than Zoom because his connection wasn't good. I agreed. About 1/3 of the way through the call, I heard a fart. A really loud, unmistakable fart. And I know it came from his end of the phone. LOL. I was kind of shocked, so I just kept talking. But then a couple of minutes later, I heard some more unmistakable sounds. I can't read this. Oh my god. It literally, I can't. I'm trying. Oh my god, I'm sorry, guys. It literally sounded like he was taking a crap while we were on the phone. I heard the water plop. I can't. I'm too immature for this story. Oh my gosh. At this point, I'm disgusted and annoyed and said, "Sorry, but are you taking a crap while talking to me?" He got all flustered and denied it. I said, "I heard you fart and now I hear plopping noise." Sorry. Oh my god. I can't with this story. Oh my god. And now I hear plopping noises. I'm not an idiot. I told him it feels disrespectful because he wasn't focused on what I was saying. It's easier to read in my head than it is to say out loud. Oh my gosh, sorry guys. I told him it feels disrespectful because he wasn't focused on what I was saying, and I feel violated too. Like, what if that's a fetish or something? It's just unprofessional. He kept denying, and I said it's fine, but I don't want to listen to your taking a dump, so I hung up. He didn't call back. I got an email today, hence the post, saying that we need to reconsider therapy at this time because of my behavior. Seriously, what? Was I really out of line for that? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills when he was the rude one. Aita? I feel like you're probably right, because if I was sure enough to ask another human being, especially a professional, if they were taking a dump while they were on the phone with me, I would have to be really freaking sure. So, I would take it up with the I don't know if you call it the firm or what is that called? Like the company that he works for, and say like, look, this is what happened and it's not going to be on my side if we have to like rethink our relationship or whatever. I need a different therapist if they can't respect that, and if they want to sit here and gaslight me, then that's clearly not going to be, you know, appropriate kind of therapist and client situation. I understand that, like, that is really disrespectful, but just like so absurd. So absurd to think about. Oh, I lost it. I'm sorry, guys, but hopefully at least it was enjoyable for you. Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and drop a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Really quickly, I'd like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers and my crazy K's. Thank you all so much for supporting me in that way. If you're interested in becoming a patron, checking out the original post from today's video, or sending me an email for possible inclusion in a future video, all of that information is in the description box, so be sure to check that out. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!